Welcome viewers, Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. I've been disappeared for a while, but I just, due to other commitments and personal things in life, but I've just come across this tremendous. I predicted this a long time ago. Many of you that followed my channel knew what I used to teach, and I predicted this a long time ago, that there was going to be more deaths within the Jehovah Witness organisation due to their theologically abusive construct. I'm going to play this. I'm a bit late out of the starting blocks, and I do apologise. I have not been following the news, but we'll go through this. What you've got to realise is theological abuse puts rules and demands on people, which causes them to think that they're anti-sinful by way of their religion, but their religious beliefs make them sinful. And something's happened here. I don't know if it's a case of shunning or a case of relationship betrayal or what, but something very serious has happened, and this is a consequence, I believe, to the religion that these people follow. We'll go ahead now and we'll go into it.
Mother and daughter are found stabbed to death inside of a home in Philadelphia's Crescentville neighborhood. We're learning more about the investigation into their murders, and Action News reporter Caroline Goggin is live at police headquarters with the very latest. Caroline.
Well, Rick, Philadelphia police brought in 2 people for questioning this afternoon, and tonight sources confirmed to us that at least one of those people is still with police. Right now, investigators are trying to figure out what led to the deaths of a mother and a daughter in a crime that has shaken the neighborhood where this all happened.
It's hard to believe.
People who live in this Crescentville neighborhood.
Now just wait a minute. A lot of these people are saying it's hard to believe. They don't know what the cause of it is. These people are ignorant of the theological abuse that's going on inside the Jehovah Witness organisation. And this is where the authorities can't get to the bottom of a lot of this murder and shootings and burning down of the kingdom halls, because they don't understand how theological abuse works and the evil that it causes.
Are trying to process what happened here this afternoon. Philadelphia police were called to the 6000 block of Bingham Street around 1:30 for reports of a stabbing inside this home.
They went down to the basement where they found a 75-year-old Hispanic female stabbed multiple times, and a 58-year-old Hispanic female also stabbed multiple times.
Police say
Now they've run down into the basement. They've tried to get away from the person that's stabbed them to death.
75-year-old victim was the mother of the 58-year-old victim. Both women died on scene. Action News has learned 2 men were taken in for questioning this afternoon. Sources say one of them is the husband of the 58-year-old victim and that he had cuts to his hand.
We're trying to determine what the motive is and what occurred here.
Several miles from the scene, Philadelphia police executed search warrants at this home in Tacony, looking for evidence connected to the crime. Sources tell us they found blood on the door of this garage that they searched. Back on Bingham Street, sources also tell us blood was found on at least one of the 2 cars towed from the scene.
We're trying to gather as much information as we can.
Neighbors watched as police spent hours investigating.
Now they're trying to find physical evidence, which is fine, but getting to the motive of theological abuse and how it causes people to do these crimes is another story. And let's just see what happens here.
Burkhart lives across the street from where the stabbing happened. He says the 75-year-old woman lived at the home with her husband.
They were Jehovah's Witnesses, and Jehovah's Witnesses.
Her husband.
They were Jehovah's Witnesses.
Husband.
They were Jehovah's Witnesses, and I know they were very active in the congregation.
Burkhart says they were
Jehovah's Witnesses, and
I know they were very active in the congregation, Jehovah's Witnesses, and I know they were very active in the congregation.
Burkhardt.
Now that's a lot. That tells us a lot. These people were Jehovah's Witnesses and they were very active in the congregation. That means from a theological perspective, they were very deceived. Now the fruit of this deception works out in micro-incremental dark triad abuse within the families. These families passively, aggressively abuse each other, and it can even turn into sexual abuse. It's definitely psychological and emotional abuse till somebody spills over and this kind of thing happens. You get the kingdom halls being burnt down, you get the bashings, now you've got a double murder, you get the people get shunned, separated from their families. I'm not sure exactly what the reasoning is here, but whatever's happened, the woman's been over at a mother's, probably whinging about the husband, and the mother's been playing in, possibly, I would say, I'm only surmising, to a breakup. The husband's had enough of their interference and he's gone over there and lost it. That's just surmising, but I'd say if you look into the underneath of it, there's been a theological abusive breakdown that's caused somebody to psychologically collapse, narcissistically collapse, and go into a fit of rage to try and deal with a problem that was probably unresolvable and driven him around the bend. And he's killed the mother and what seems to be the wife, who have tried to get away from him, and he's got them in the basement.
Says they were wonderful neighbors and that their daughters came to check on them every day.
Somebody always came to one of the doors, usually sometimes twice a day.
And police tonight are calling this a domestic-related incident. At this time, there is no word on a motive, and sources tell us that no weapon has been recovered. We're live.
Now this is the problem with all this, viewers. The police and these people, I'll put the link to this story below. The police and these other kind of people are not going to be able to understand how this evil carries out and how it plays out. And if you have watched my some 2,300 videos, which many of you haven't, you will see that the Jehovah's Witness cult trains people, entrains people, conditions people to not only theologically self-abuse, but to allow the theological abuse to filter through their families, into their families. And as people shun, that's what they automatically do. They go into a shunning mentality. If something don't suit, then they separate that person away. They abuse that person by pushing them away, which can send people round the bend. It sends people round the bend. This is what the Australian Royal Commission was all about. People being shunned from their families by not giving in to the deception and theological abuse of the Watchtower and the Jehovah's Witnesses. And I'd say this is a classic case of another narcissistic or theological abusive psychological collapse, which has caused a man to go into a complete sinful breakdown, and he stabbed and bludgeoned to death the mother and the daughter. Theological abuse, viewers, you just don't know much about it, but it's right through the Jehovah's Witnesses. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison warning all religious people to escape from the theological abuse of the Jehovah's Witness cult. Bye for now.